Hi everyone, welcome to Wheel Footy, the only wheelchair football show on YouTube, and today is going to be a look back at last season and a look forward at this upcoming one. There were a few things I missed last season, it being my first year covering the game, and also apologies to mainly the WA and NT leagues. Let's start with the latter. I did mention the NT at the start of 2025, knowing they had a league but nothing had started on Play HQ. They started in July, and congrats to the Southern Districts Crocs for defying the odds, rising from the lowest ELO score at the start of the season in that league to win the flag over the Darwin Buffaloes. That's pretty much all the info I have, but I'm hoping to cover that league a bit closer next year after meeting some of their players at the AFL Open event. James Chapman in particular, what a player he is. I missed the Waffle League entirely as it was so late on in the year, so congrats to the West Coast Eagles, the 2025 champions. Ben Green, my MVP of the AFL Open, led his side to a second consecutive flag with 16 goals in the grand final. Unbelievable performance, a one-man show, and even though he was playing defence a lot in the AFL Open, I can see him being a very, very dangerous forward. Again, he's just an absolute superstar. If you get a chance to watch him play, absolutely do it. He is very, very unique in what he's able to generate in that league. I've also done statistical analysis of the Queensland wheelchair games, at least the ones that are currently on YouTube, in preparation for this year's sample season. So I've added a few more parameters and refined my StatFeeder player game score formulas. Unsurprisingly, Michael Dobby Bridges and Josh Boyle dominate my figures, with Tristan Orchard leading all defenders by quite some way. An unheralded player nationally, in my opinion, but a brilliant one nonetheless. Zach Carlson, David McCormick and Josh Lake all also feature well, with Stephen French and Ash Holt also getting above 2 VORP, Ash being the standout women's player. And all of these games are from 2023 to 2025, so I've got the 23 and 24 grand finals and all the matches from 25, so the grand final and both Q clashes. Aside from that, that's pretty much it. The Queensland League is the only one to have announced their league start date at the time of recording. That will be the 15th of May, so look out for that. And time for some predictions. Now, keep in mind, these predictions are all made under the assumptions that the squads will all be pretty much exactly the same, unless I've been explicitly told otherwise, so I could be wrong. It's like, imagine going into the AFL season not knowing that Melbourne have lost Oliver and Track. That's basically how blind I'm going in. WA, I'm told that this league's going to be shaken like a cocktail mixer this year with the arrival of some new sides. Apparently all the Waffle sides are getting involved this year, which is absolutely excellent. I think though that if West Coast retain Ben Green, they retain the title. Who they beat in that grand final will depend if Ben Moncrief can play the full season alongside his basketball commitments. If he can, it's his East Fremantle. If he can't, I reckon it's Perth again. NT, I know nothing about the NT League whatsoever, so I'm going on my ELO rankings. I think Darwin will clinch the flag this year, with the race for second being close. I'm going to put the Crocs second, with the Fumbles FC team and Pint Wheel Ants rounding it out. Queensland, let me get this straight. Morningside made the 2024 grand final with the best player in the league and lost narrowly to Redcliffe. They then add Redcliffe's and the league's best defender in Tristan Orchard and the biggest, baddest mudder in the wheelchair game in Josh Boyle. Not only have they not lost since, they haven't looked like losing. They've translated that over to the Q Clash games, where the Brisbane side is effectively the Morningside team plus a couple of other guest stars. The Panthers will trot to flag number 3, and I reckon they'll take the national ELO crown for the first time in doing so. All they really need to do is to win whenever Woodville West Torrens lose. Mount Gravatt and Ormeau will have a tight finish to see who gets blown out by the Panthers in the grand final, but I think that the Vandenhoek and Letters duos gets it done for the Bulldogs. Redcliffe will be in a fairly distant 4th place, with Beanley hotter on their heels than last season. Beanley has a core that has no business going 0-12 last season. All they need is some rotation to combat fatigue in those double headers, and they will get some good wins. I expect a lot of improvement from them this year. Alright, as you can see by this, a lot of time has passed, even though I am still wearing the same shirt. Just an addenda, I want to talk about New South Wales. They've got a Club League Championship up and running this season, which is absolutely fantastic. I remember chatting with Toby Popple, the New South Wales captain, about something like this happening when I chatted to him last year, and it's got off the ground. 8 clubs are involved. It'll be happening all throughout May, so very, very soon after I'm ending up releasing this. Rotating venues, the schedule, I'll put that up on the screen wherever it is. Get out there if you're in Sydney. It should be absolute fun. Registration is, I'll chuck in the link in the description if I can remember. And yeah, I absolutely recommend it. Really fast growing in Sydney, which is so, so great to see. Cannot predict anything of what's going to happen, of course, because the teams will probably rotate players each week. Trying to think who played this week just gone. It was Macquarie Union Central Coast, I believe. I'm genuinely looking it up now. That's how ramshackle of an operation I'm running here. Yeah, the Central Coast Rolling Tides and the Newcastle Seahorses. That's an awesome name. And then a whole bunch of other clubs, mainly uni clubs, involved as well, which is excellent. So, yeah, check it out if you're in Sydney. Victoria, okay, St Kilda showed last season that they're not infallible. In fact, Richmond looked the better side until maybe the last month, but they're still very, very strong. Seb Welsh is a gun. Ryan Smith's shown he can switch to the midfield now with great effectiveness, and Sean Groenewegen is the best backman in the state. Richmond have lost their star mid in Tisha Shadwell, so I don't think they'll offer as strong a challenge despite James Wynet's best efforts. They really need 2 of him. I'm going to be risky and say that the Saints beat the Pies in the granny this year. Richmond 3rd. The Hawks are too good to be last again. Just like Bean Lee, they need bodies to offer depth if their outright superstars aren't available. Like, they've got Vic Captain Hayden Orber and the spectacle that is Hollywood Hill up front. They, again, have no business winning only 1 game for a season. They will be much improved this year. Essendon have good players, but I've heard they may lose Tassie gun Mitch Stretton, so I think the Hawks will overtake them, but I think it'll be a lot closer than last year. SA. Now, I may be a bit biased here as I am now in the employ of one of these sides. Norwood have picked me up as a stats man, which is very exciting, but means most of my data is exclusive to them, so sorry to the viewers, but I'll make it up for you with game day content when I play for their reserves this year. I'm very, very excited for that. In terms of transfers, so far there's been no huge moves this year, like with Jamie Smythe's Norwood move last year, but the Eagles have lost valuable depth with Izzy Nitschke moving to Queensland. Hope she gets picked up by Bean Lee. She'd be a great fit for that team. She'd be a gun there. Adam Roki may also be missing bits and pieces of the season, whilst Big TJ will again suit up despite doing the retirement tango once again. You cannot escape from us, Trev. He's like the John Farnham of the Wheelchair League. While the Eagles were imperious last year, I sense that a drop-off is coming. I still have them to win the flag this year, but it'll be within 5 goals and Norwood will come close. Centrals will be a largely competitive 3rd, with Darren Peters' return being a huge factor in their success. They're a much better side with him in the middle, allowing Sean Whitbread to blast around upfield at the speed of sound, and Jason Tippins to focus on his defensive craft, which is superb. West will be only 4th out of inexperience. They learned a lot from last year, but they've got the Bean Lee problem. They've got a core made up of some of the finest players in Australia, but a lack of depth to cover them, and a lack of a midfielder to win a ruck tap if Darren Myesko's absence does prove to be permanent. So, those are my predictions / roundup for this year. Not sure when this is going to come out, because there's probably going to be no news in between now when I'm recording this and May when the season kicks off, but I'll keep you guys posted. It's going to be a bit of a different way of covering everything this year. I'm going to be doing episodes probably once every 2 weeks now, so I can focus a bit more on the main channel. That sort of fell behind a bit last season whilst I was doing this. Again, do not regret doing that, because I love covering the wheelchair game, and it gave me some great experiences last year and this year. Plus, I'm not going to be able to show you guys as much stats, of course, thanks to what I'm doing helping out Norwood, so I'm not going to be able to provide as detailed content for you. So I think once every fortnight is probably the best solution to cover everything. But yeah, hopefully that all works, and I will see you guys when the season kicks off.